What's up, everyone? Welcome to this week's episode of the Dense Pixels podcast. I'm your host, Brad, joined by Micah. Half of Micah, honestly, right now.
All that making fun of Jim Ross for Bell's palsy is finally catching up to me.
Micah, for those unaware, the reason we had to push recording back a day anyway, and the reason why Micah sounds like that he has his mouth filled with gauze is because he does indeed have his mouth filled with gauze because he had to go get a couple teeth pulled yesterday.
Yeah, that's not a fun experience. This was the first time I've had teeth pulled with just Novocaine. Like when I got it, when I had it done as a child, they gave me laughing gas, so you don't really feel nothing, you don't remember nothing. But like I was fully awake, and just like you just feel that pressure, and you hear the teeth being pulled from the sinew in your mouth, and then they had to drill because the one down here was just buried deep in it. And they were like, all right. You smell the drill. I had my eyes closed because I'm a bitch, yo. I can't. I couldn't look at some woman yank teeth out of my mouth with these fancy pliers, man.
Well, I'm going to be doing a lot of talking today because I'm trying to save Micah from having to introduce news stories. So I'll be handling the introduction news stories. Micah will be here for commentary. We got a lot of stuff to talk about this week. A lot of stuff. It is we're going to save our Destiny stuff to the back half of the show. Myself and Mike have a lot to say about the game, about some of the news around the game. We will of course address the big gaming controversy in the world this week. I'm sure most of you know what it is. But let's get started real quick. Besides Destiny, I've been playing a lot of everybody's golf lately because that's what me and my wife have been playing recently. There's not a whole lot to really call and write home about with the game. I mean, if you like Hot Shots, this is so far probably the best iteration of Hot Shots golf. And I won't really be able to make that statement declaratively until I've actually spent some time in it because World International on the Vita was really good. But yeah, so far so good. I will say the only knock on it is that the progression through the game is really slow. I've probably played like 5 or 6 hours. My golfer level is like level 9, which takes quite a few rounds and holes to get to that level, but I still only have like one course unlocked so far, and I'm only ranked 2 in like the tournament rankings in the single player.
Okay. So
there's a lot to unlock. Like there's a lot of courses, outfits for your characters, stuff like that, but it's a very slow burn. Another thing that I like about this one that's new is that you can actually level up specific aspects of each of your clubs. So like if you hit a long drive on the fairway, your driver will gain experience points. And as it levels up, it increases like the power that it has. Or like if you land a ball on the green within like 15 feet of the cup, like the club you use will get a certain level up for like control and stuff like that. So that's a neat thing. It kind of reminds me almost of Skyrim. Like you get experience just for doing the stuff that you do in the game, and it makes you just better at those things as you go along. So It's neat. If you're a fan of Hot Shots, there is absolutely no reason that you shouldn't pick this one up. It's been a blast, and I've been playing with my wife, and I don't know if I should be concerned that she's holding her own despite the fact that the only 2 rounds of the game that she's played so far are the 2 rounds that we've played against each other, where I've had a lot more experience so far. So maybe she's just a savant at the Hot Shots.
Sounds like me and my wife when we were at the driving range for my birthday. She was just kicking my ass. I'm just like, I'm sitting there trying to do all this form and like, all right, well, my wrists have to be this way, my feet have to be this way, and my body has to be this way. And she's just fucking hitting the thing. It's like, boop. Like, oh, okay.
Micah, tell me about Black Manta.
Black Manta came out today, and I like him. He's really fun. From Black Manta came out for Injustice, and he's super fun. One of the big complaints about Injustice is that when people get into a projectile match, like it's just 2 people on either side just throwing projectiles, particularly with characters who are known for just using projectiles like Deadshot. Black Manta has a teleport punch that can get in without doing that stupid like dash duck thing. Like it will get him directly into and get you in close with an offensive attack. It's not safe on block, but if you do it while some dumbass Deadshot character is shooting guns from the end of the screen, it's guaranteed hit. So you can't play that game with him. He's super fun, man. If Terrence was here, I would say he was wondering whether or not he should buy it. You don't necessarily have to get the fighter pack 2 if you don't want to, but I think he would have a good time with Black Manta. And Black Manta, like he reminds me of Terrence. Like he's just an embittered black man. Just oh, you're my first kill for the day. Like what? God, like damn, bro. Like is it are you having a bad day? It's just like I'm gonna murder you. Like what? It's just like I'm gonna kill you, and then I know where your daughter lives. I'm like, Jesus Christ, Black Manta, chill out. They also a lot of characters make fun of his helmet. It's like, wow, your head must be really weird. It's like it's a helmet, dumbass. Like, oh well, what the fuck are you doing wearing it? So
why do I feel like the Flash probably has some helmet quips?
The Flash, Bizarro. It's like Bizarro did not know what the fuck was going on with his helmet. And there was one other character that had a comment about his helmet. Shit was funny.
Very good. Very good. Well, speaking of funny, we recorded the Die Another Day episode of The Men with the Golden Tongues this past weekend.
Yes.
And it should be coming out.
It should be coming out Thursday.
Okay, so there you go, Thursday. If you haven't signed up for premium content yet, you probably should for this one.
Yeah,
it's densepixels.com/premium. Just $5 if you want to try it for a month. If you want to get it for the whole year, it's $50. Besides the Men with the Golden Tongues, you also get 2 episodes of No Time to Bleed this month. You get the Look Forward Political podcast every single week, and you get the Airing of Grievances every other week as well. So lots of good shows. I think we're up over 300 hours total of content so far. At least 20 episodes of the Men with the Golden Tongues so far. So definitely, again, check it out, densepixels.com/premium. Also, if you are not subscribe to us on YouTube, make sure you go to youtube.com/densepixels, subscribe to the show there. We also release this podcast in video form rather, every single week. So if you want to see Micah struggle to talk through his pulled teeth this week, you can go to youtube.com/densepixels, watch this episode, and again, hit subscribe. We're thinking about different ways to do different like video things that we can populate the channel with. Also, I think that when we do streams, which hopefully will be coming in more frequently here, we'll probably also post those on our YouTube channel as well. So if you don't get a chance to watch it on Twitch, you'll be able to check it out there also. New releases, there's a lot of games that came out this week. I'm just going to run down the list. Most notably, probably NBA 2K18. But most of these are Friday releases too, by the way. NBA 2K18 releases this week. WNBA Live 18 releases this week.
What?
I'm just gonna call NBA Live WNBA Live because I would imagine that half the people that are going to buy it are going to be buying it specifically for the WNBA mode.
Yeah, I totally forgot that they had the WNBA in this game.
Mm-hmm. So, like I said, there are probably, by my estimation, 500 WNBA fans. So half of those, all of those people will buy it, and then the other 500 people will buy the game that are going to buy live instead of 2K, and that'll round it out to an even 1,000 for them. this release. NHL 18 releases this weekend. So does Metroid Samus Returns on the 3DS. Baja Edge of Control HD. I can't say the word Baja without flashing back to Diamonds Are Forever and how Jimmy Dean says the word Baja. Dishonored Death of the Outsider, the standalone Dishonored expansion releases. There's an Inside and Limbo double pack that's coming out. If you haven't played either of those, that's probably a good investment. NASCAR Heat 2. Pro Evolution Soccer 2018, everyone's favorite soccer game in South America, releases this week. And Ease 8, Lacrimosa of Dana. The Ease series, still going strong, apparently.
There are, 8 of them? Goodness gracious, man.
And on the digital side, the only thing I saw of note was Samurai Showdown 5 Special, which looks like a gussied up version of Samurai Showdown 5, if you're into that. Couple new release date announcements as well. Couple unexpected release date announcements. LA Noire is coming back. They're re-releasing this game on PS4, Xbox One, and Switch on November 14th. They're also coming out with some VR cases that if you have the PlayStation VR, you can take advantage of. And then Okami is coming back yet again, December 13th on PS4, Xbox One, and PC. Micah, are you excited about LA Noire or Okami?
I'd be excited to play Okami again, but I bought LA Noire and I just wasn't really feeling it.
I think it's the only Rockstar game I've ever finished. All the way. Yeah, I don't need to play it again, but
it's one of the few that I have never finished. And
interesting.
It is. I don't know. I just wasn't feeling it. I think it was the time period. I'm not a fan of. A fan of things set in the past, based in America. You know what I mean?
I do. And trust me, I understand. It takes place in 40s LA, and there are definitely some very 40s LA happenings in that game in terms of how like black people are spoken to. So it's period authentic.
Yeah,
that's for sure. But yeah, so that's coming out. Like I said, I'm not going to buy that. I don't need to play it again. It's one of those things you really only need to experience one time. But it's interesting that out of nowhere that's happening. So let's get into headlines this week. Known racist does a racist thing to the shock of absolutely nobody. Noted YouTube streamer PewDiePie went on his channel the other day and called someone in a heated moment while playing PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds the N-word, which I will not say. Micah can say it though.
Out of respect for my friend Brad here, I won't say it. But not out of respect for you, just out of common decency. Like I know you don't use that type of terminology, and I'm not gonna use it as a pronoun like Terrence does. But look, I'm not upset that this guy said it. Quite frankly, I'm of the mindset that white people say that word all the time. And it would be incredibly hypocritical of me to condemn him for saying it, given the shit that I say on this podcast. I believe that everyone has the right to say whatever they want to say. And what they don't have the right to do is complain when people take offense to it. I mean, you hear a lot of stuff like that online, and I'm not condoning it. I'm not saying it's cool or whatever, because usually it's not said in the midst of a joke. Like when I say inappropriate language, I try to do it. I try my best to do it in the context of a joke. Unless I'm talking about a preacher from Baltimore, in which case that guy is a nigger. But I don't. But that's just because I don't like him, and I'm saying it to be offensive. But this guy, the one thing that I hate about this guy is that this guy has all the fame and money that a person in this in this genre, right, of just YouTube celebrities. He is the face. He has all the money in the world and all the fame, yet when he does, and that emboldens him to do stupid shit. And when you do stupid shit like that, as somebody calls you out on it, then he plays the victim. Nah, bro, you're nobody's victim.
I think
you know what you're doing.
I think that you of all people, you've shown your self-awareness. So like for those of you that haven't been fans a long time, like Micah one time said something on the show, and nobody said anything to him about it. He took it upon himself though, because he felt bad to actually record like an apology about that, and we give him shit about it because it's funny, but like that shows who Micah is. Okay.
Yeah, like I try to, I try not to be evil about it.
Well, you have self-awareness though. That's the thing, is that you can look within yourself and because I'm sure you went back and you listened to that episode after you recorded it, because I'm sure it was like in your head, right? And you probably looked and said, man, like I don't like how I come off in this situation. Let me get out in front of this. And like I said, you didn't even need to. Like no one asked you to. No one, said, "Oh my God, I can't believe he said that." This is ridiculous. And it's not like Jay pressured you into doing that. Like you just did it. You didn't have to, but you did it, and you did it because you felt bad about it. There have certainly been times where I've made a joke about something that was off color, and in my head, like afterwards, I'm like, oh, I don't really like how that came out. Like it happens to the best of us. The problem with PewDiePie, and I don't want to linger on him too long because there's the other half of the story that I think is far more interesting, is that A, he's done this several times before, and B, it's not necessarily what he said, but how easily it flowed from him. You know what I mean? Like, and the thing that I've heard that's critical of this, and I agree with it, is the way it was said and the casualness with which he used that word suggests that it's a word that he probably uses away from the cameras. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely he does. Absolutely he does. And for the ignorant who are just like, well, it's just a word, it's just like, what's the big deal? Like, words are words. Like, yeah, but words have power. And like I said, he can say whatever he wants. But when he said it, he said, oh, that guy's a fucking nigger. Oops, I'm sorry. I mean, he's an asshole, equating that. Well, I just wanted to, it was a Michael Richards thing. I wanted to say something that I know was inflammatory. Okay, well, it's inflammatory, and people say it to other people in that way all the time. You're right. He has zero self-awareness, which is why I don't feel any type of sympathy for him, because
he literally posted yet another apology video today, and he said, I'm mad at myself because I keep doing this. And I'm just like, yeah, it's a you problem, dude.
Yeah,
it's absolutely a you problem.
You're a grown man, and look, any apology he puts up, like, I'm not. It falls on deaf ears when it comes to me, because how many times can you do the same thing over and over again and apologize for it, and you expect people to come back? You're not Capcom. You don't get to make the same mistake over and over and over again and expect people to still buy your fucking Street Fighter games.
Well, again, and no one's even like holding him to some unreasonable standard. I mean, I've mentioned on this show before, I've certainly used in my youth like the bad F word, not fuck, obviously, but the one that you shouldn't say.
The cigarette.
Right. And I used to use it like, at first online or amongst friends, and then as you gain life experience and as you meet more people and meet people in different walks of life than you learn that word is something that is hurtful to other people, and it's on you as a person to, if you care about those people, to shove that word down and not use it. Like another example is I used to use the word gay to mean stupid, and that was just something you did. You know what I mean? Like that, and because at the time that's what people did, and then as time goes along and you meet more and more people, and you have meet a lot of friends who also happen to be homosexual, and you find out, oh, like when people do that, that's really hurtful. You're like, man, I don't want to hurt these people with that language, even though that they know I'm not like a homophobe myself. So it's on you to recognize that language is harmful to other people, even if those aren't people in your sphere, and to do something different about it.
Right.
And I'm sorry, but PewDiePie or Felix Kjellberg or whatever, what the fuck his name is a grown man, and again, a grown man who's been through this before.
Right.
Like there is no excuse that he could levy that would be a reasonable explanation to explain away what he did. And like I said, this take that we're offering is not unique, but it's the take that you'd expect to hear from a human being who cares about, you know, the feelings and the thoughts of other people. And especially because he is the face, and this is going to lead into the other part of the story. He is, for better or worse, whether we chose him or not, whether he wants to be or not, he is sort of the face of the live stream community, because he is the most successful, and he was among the first, and good or bad, right or wrong, he's a guy that needs to be held to a higher standard. And you can say, oh, that's unfair, Brad. No, it's not. Not when you make the millions of dollars that he makes.
Right.
Nobody would argue that, you know, guys like LeBron James, guys like, I hate bringing him up as an example, but guys like Tom Brady, you know, people like that should be held to a higher standard, because they represent more than just themselves.
Yeah, whether they want to or not. You can be like Charles Barkley and be like, oh, I'm not a role model, all you want, but yeah, you kind of are.
So the other part of the story, and I think arguably the part that's more interesting than known racist does a racist thing again, is part of the game industry is at least had enough of this. So Sean Vanaman is the founder of Campo Santo Games, who are best known for Firewatch. And he decided, and he's followed through and done this. He's filed a DMCA takedown request for any of PewDiePie's videos about Firewatch. And the reason that he wants to do this is because he says that basically he's sick of, you know, of him getting more and more chances to make money off of his product. Quote, he's worse than a closeted racist. He's a propagator of despicable garbage that does real damage to the culture around this industry. And Sean Vanaman's standpoint is, by allowing his Firewatch videos to remain on his site, he's complicit in that. And that he's made, like they've made money because of PewDiePie featuring their content, and PewDiePie has made money off their content, and they have to understand that there is a responsibility there to be had between that. So it is within Sean Vanaman's legal rights to do this. The Digital Copyright Millennium Act, Digital Millennium Copyright Act allows the use of things like game footage and stuff like that in video clips that are posted online. They're not covered under fair use. So it's well within his rights to do that. And it's well within the rights of anyone in the gaming community, or any game publisher, to do that as well. They typically don't, because usually streaming is sort of a quid pro quo avenue where, yes, they're using, you know, your IP in a way that you don't intend it, but at the same time, it's raising awareness to it and stuff like that. So it's making you money. So no one usually says anything. A couple weeks ago, of course, or a couple months ago, rather, we covered, of course, Sega and Atlas threatening to take down people who stream past a certain point in Persona 5. And we certainly argued against that as being a little petty and you know, overreactionary for no reason. So I'm curious, Micah, how do you feel about this situation?
With the Persona thing, that's because, you know, oh well, I don't want my story to get out. Like that's a stupid excuse. The reason why Vanaman is doing it is a far more legitimate excuse, in my opinion. He has a brand, he has a product and a brand, and he doesn't want it associated with someone who does a bunch of stupid shit. He's in his legal right to do it. He wasn't playing Firewatch when he said it, but look, if that's the type of person that you allow for, that you have this mutual thing with, and you don't like what that person does, guess what? Like, it's your product, man. You gotta do everything to protect your brand. Because what if one day he's Kelberg is playing Firewatch for whatever reason, and he's talking, and the girl that's on the radio says something that he don't like, and he calls her like some sort of name or some shit like that. Like, then that reflects poorly on, you know, that damages your brand a little bit. And quite frankly, I would do the same thing, man. I know some people will argue that, you know, that Vanaman's is overreacting, But I don't know, man. I don't think so. If we were to be sponsored by somebody, this is one of the reasons why it's good that we're not sponsors, because we can say whatever we want to say. But if we were sponsored by somebody and I make some sort of off-color comment, or Terrence, who refers to everybody as the N-word, like he's not trying to be like, it's just a part of his vocabulary. But if a sponsor comes up and is like, I don't want you saying that anymore, and if you do, I'm going to pull the product. I mean, I get it. So I don't know, man.
Well, in this specific instance, I generally agree with you. Of course, that does invite the slippery slope argument. So let's just say hypothetically, several more creators pull their stuff from his stream, right? And let's say he's like, holy shit, if I don't stop this bleeding, I'm gonna, possibly lose a lot of money. It's gonna affect my channel, this, that, or the other. So he sues them, and he goes to court, and he loses because there's already a law in the books that allows them to do that for any reason. But now you have legal precedent that if any other company decides, I don't want to have this, have this stream of my game on this channel, then they can file a takedown notice, and they have ironclad protection to make it happen. Now you say, oh, if someone's being a racist scumbag, great. And yes, I agree with you on that. The problem arises if someone abuses that power to, say, take down a negative review of the game, or to, take down something, like you said with the Atlas thing, if a part of the story pops out that they don't want people to be able to see online. That's where the problem comes. And I went through several phases with this story. When I first heard it, of course, my initial reaction was good, fuck him, because because fuck PewDiePie, he's an asshole. Then I came back to that slippery slope. I'm like, man, do we really want a legal precedent to be established based off of this case? And again, there's no indication that he will file suit in order to protect those videos. I don't think that he would, unless it was like a in mass, bailing out on his channel. So, but it's dangerous precedent, but I'm actually not that worried about it. Here's why. So let's say everything that I mentioned happens, right? We have a legal binding case. Everyone that streams games and that publishes games on YouTube and Twitch, for that matter, now the stuff that they put up is not protected. Anyone can come along that owns that IP and file a takedown notice against it, and they'll win because there's legal backing. I would love to see the first time a company goes to like not us, obviously, like we're not big enough to have major sway on the industry, but like let's say a notable streamer, let's say Destiny, let's say Activision goes to My Name Is Bife and says, you can't use our footage in your lore videos anymore that you put up. I don't think that they're going to want that to happen, because then My Name Is Bife has a platform that he can shout from the rooftops on multiple times a week saying, fuck Activision, they're assholes, they did this. And it's going to reflect negatively on them. Mm-hmm. As if to reinforce that, because of course his fans are fucking stupid. Firewatch is getting review bombed on Steam right now. For people that are sympathetic to PewDiePie. So while PewDiePie has to live with the consequences of his action, Sean Vanaman also, and any other company that wants to file any kind of a takedown notice, also will have to suffer the consequences of that action as well. Now, Sean Vanaman, I'm pretty sure, is not going to give a shit about getting a review bombed on Steam,
right?
For standing up for a moral principle that he holds dear, and more power to him. But yes, I'm not as concerned as I was about that when I first saw it.
Yeah, this I understand the slippery slope argument. I don't think this particular argument holds weight with this story. And look, that's what courts are for, man. Like, yeah, it's a legal precedent, but it's not a golden rule. Like every case would hypothetically, every hypothetical case would have to be hypothetically reviewed in individuality, by its I fucking can't think. But you know what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
I hope And I don't know. I don't know. In this case, you're right. I don't think it's an issue that we have to necessarily worry about.
And you know what? Like if a game maker is going to go to someone that's being a shitbag and be like, "Hey, you're not going to use our product anymore to profit on your stream," don't be a shitbag, maybe. And that's the moral of the story.
I mean, it's much easier to not be a bigot. Especially, look, you can be a bigot all you want, but if you want to be a bigot and still get paid, like that's not, every ignorant dumbass out there is well, freedom of speech. Like the government didn't censor him. Like he could say whatever he wants to say, man, and in turn, the company that is being represented by him can say whatever the hell they want to say.
I'm just annoyed because I'm sick and tired of talking about this fucking guy, and I know in 4 months he's going to do something else stupid, and we're going to be right back here, doing this shit again. So hopefully there's an interesting back half of the next time as well, because at least I was loath to want to talk about this. You can't ignore it because it's such a big story in the industry this week. I'm just glad that there was something else to sink our teeth into, rather than just that story. We're also blowing up the format of the show today because we're doing question of the week right now because it's related to this. We asked you guys if you agreed with Sean Vanaman's decision to file takedown notices against PewDiePie's videos of Firewatch, and are you concerned about the precedent that the action sets and the unintended consequences that it could lead to down the road? I'm going to read through these kind of quickly and not read them verbatim, summarize people's thoughts. So my apologies, but it is nice to see a couple newer faces that I don't see too often in there this week. Carrie says, if a streamer wants to have a positive relationship with the gaming industry, I suggest they not be a fucking racist Nazi. The whole slippery slope argument is moronic, as it always has been. Don't give a company a legitimate reason to want to completely dissociate with you, and they probably won't file a complaint. Very, very true. Cam says he understands the fear that it could lead to a future which companies get pissed at someone bad-mouthing their product, but he doesn't watch any of this shit, so it doesn't affect him in any way, so fuck that racist piece of shit, and I hope he loses all of his money, and in 3 months he is sucking dick under the overpass for the retweets. Fuck him. I hope he dies in a tire fire. Trey says, if you're not spewing racist, homophobic bullshit, you have nothing to worry about, as Jim Sterling proved that if a game studio wants to be a petty bitch because they don't like their review, you can get thrown out of court. I hope they threw the entire bookshelf at that bastard. Yeah, we didn't talk about the Sterling thing, Micah. How are you attuned to that whole thing that happened 6 months ago where Jim Sterling on his YouTube channel shit on a shitty Steam game company and they tried to sue him and they lost really badly?
Good.
So, yeah, reviews are a different thing than Let's Plays. Like reviews, yeah, they can't do anything to you because you are offering a critique on a product. Those are covered under fair use. We're talking more about like just like live streams.
Yeah, live streams, which is just essentially free advertising, for fuck's sakes. Like say whatever. Yeah, no, get out of here.
Dustin says that he's amazed by the amount of people that actually watch people playing games. I might look up a secret if I'm having a hard time getting through a level. He'll look it up. But he never listens to anyone saying, and you try to find one without audio. He also finds it crazy that he's getting so much flack for saying a bad word. Has no one that's complaining ever been in a Call of Duty lobby? Everyone has fucked my mom, and I'm a dumbass cracker. At some point, people need to just get over themselves. And really, at the end of the day, is Firewatch really a game? Now, GoldenEye, that's a fucking game. I don't think the issue is so much that it's not like people obviously know that it goes on, but it does matter. Like it's the same reason why like Trump matters, right? Like Trump's a fucking crazy person, but at the same time, he is still also the president. So it matters what he says and how he acts, because that affects how America is perceived. And the same way that PewDiePie, again, is, like it or not, is the face of this whole live streaming community. So how he is perceived is how the majority of people will be perceived as well.
Right.
So Andy says this will be looked upon as the moment that started the ball rolling towards PewDiePie's eventual bankruptcy. Finally, he nails it with that one. So
yeah, it's a little late though, because this is like the 4th or 5th time.
Christopher says, let's face it, spewing racism in the digital faces of millions of fans is fucking awful. So for that developer and potentially others fighting against him only makes sense. That's their company and livelihood. Good on them for standing up against that Swede racist. So echoing your thoughts there, Micah. Yeah. Gaston says, no reason to make Micah struggle to read anymore. I agree with this decision. Don't be racist, sexist, homophobic, etc. It's easy. It is easy. George says, calm down. PewDiePie, as we will always pronounce it, was just trying to make PUBG great again. He was probably tired from going to Home Depot and buying tiki torches in bulk. The guy wasn't cheating. PewDiePie just kept hitting Alt and right to shoot. Any of these doing anything for you? No? Then just fuck him.
That was funny, George.
Amir is shortened to the point. Yes, I agree with Vanaman. Fuck PewDiePie and everyone that loves him. Diamond says, I mean this metaphorically, but as the poet laureate, Ice-T says, and then he posts a link of Ice-T's body count on YouTube. Aaron says if he had to take guess, he could have gotten the game for free to stream, unless there's some type of contractual obligation, which I can absolutely guarantee you there is not. He has no issue with not wanting to support or appear to support a racist, bigot, prejudiced person, etc. It's not a good look. I wouldn't want to purchase any future titles from a developer or publisher that does support them. But with PewDiePie, as he abbreviated because he doesn't want to say his name, and JonTron, maybe companies should vet better instead of jumping behind numbers and views. I mean, it's only in the past couple of years that PewDiePie has really emerged as being really fucking stupid. As you know, the more higher people get in power, the more dumb things they tend to do, I think, is the principle there.
Yeah.
Mark says, I disagree because of the simply reason that this is deemed okay. Then you were saying that developers have the right to give any reviewer that dislikes or bashes their game can't make videos. Where I do not agree or like PewDiePie, this will open a bigger can of worms with reviewers and press. Yeah, I mean, like I said, that is the fear. I just don't see it happening on a wide scale.
Didn't Ubisoft at one point try to blackball some EGM?
That was yes. The controversy there was this was back when Assassin's Creed came out.
Yeah.
They threatened to pull advertising from EGM for their low, and by low I'm talking like 7.5 score for Assassin's Creed. So, and there's another instance also where who published Army of Two? I think that was EA.
I think so.
I don't know if it was EA or if it was the company that developed Army of Two threatened to pull advertisement from Giant Bomb for low scores as well. So it's certainly something that's happened in the past. And again, some what you have to remember is companies can take down stuff now. They don't like they have the legal right to do it. They don't do it because it would be a really bad look for them to do it. And they also know that the negative backlash in the video game community would far outweigh, the benefits of having their videos taken down.
Yep.
So, Mac. Hi, Mac. If you posted before, I don't remember seeing you before, but then again, I don't read these usually.
Yeah, you post a lot, actually. I remember his name because his last name is what it is, and it's
Macbeth. I guess I should say the whole thing. So, he would love to see PewDiePie's channel crash and burn. There are other channels that are way better than his, such as Vanos and Funhouse and NNB Gaming. However, I think this will give other companies the courage to do the same thing when they disagree with what a YouTuber puts out. We have to protect these creators a little bit, especially during current YouTube policies. Are you, Mike? Are you pro Google regulating this?
Regulating what? The
whole live stream thing on their platform, at least.
No, because it's not. I mean, I'm not aware of whether or not like a lot of what YouTube, if YouTube is being used to elicit, violence and hate, then regulate it. But it's not a problem. You know what I mean? Like, I'm all.
It's bigger problem than you probably think it is. You just don't go into the far reaches where it is a problem. So
yeah, like I'm just ignorant to it, you know. Like I don't know enough about it. I know that a lot of content creators are really pissed, especially because there's a lot of content creators out there that use clips from film and things like that. Like we've got hit a couple of times because we use clips from Black on Black Cinema, and from Tyler Perry movies mainly, trying to get us, you know, to take down our videos, and it's a fight and it's a pain in the ass. Yeah, I don't know. I would have to think on it because I'm not usually for regulation unless it's something that can kill someone or something that would elicit violence. But at the same time, like I would need to read more of I would need to read up on the situation.
Okay. Mark says he doesn't see a huge amount of DMCA takedowns coming because companies want to remain in the good graces of most people that put them up, aka the people who buy their games. But exceptions and examples should be made of those who are in the public eye and act like dickholes. You have freedom of speech, but not freedom from consequences. And I hope Pewds' consequences include a daily exclamation of "fuck my balls." Daniel says that this would probably go completely unnoticed if he was a smaller streamer, so there's clearly an audience who likes this kind of stuff, and he's probably not the only one. So props to Vanaman for trying, but I think the culture for this behavior is too big to have anything happen to it. I personally do what is probably the only thing to do, which is not watch any of it. Yeah, I think that is part of the story that didn't get enough play, is the amount of people, most of them white, by the way. Like when I say most, I mean the vast majority, coming to his defense, saying, "Oh, this was done in a passionate moment." But again, it's in moments like that people usually let their true colors shine through. Is all I'll say.
I mean, you're right, especially because you know,
because if you have to walk around. Like again, if you're the type of person who, when you're conducting yourself in a social situation, has to walk around saying, "Don't say the N-word, don't say the N-word, don't say the N-word, don't say the N-word." That's I don't have to do that. Right. Because that word's not part of my vocabulary normally.
Right, exactly. Like to your point, like from earlier, the F word that rhymes with maggot. I don't go around calling people that because I don't even think to do it. Like it doesn't come off roll off the tongue. You know what I mean? This isn't 1993. Like, come on, yo. Like, I don't know. And look, if the guy were like in his teens, maybe I give him a pass. Guy's like 26, 27.
He's a grown ass man.
Yeah, man. Like, you know, right from wrong. You are aware of the world. For fuck's sake. And I'm assuming he lives in America.
He does.
Well, fuck you then. Like, I might have even given you a little bit of a pass if you lived in a foreign country.
My favorite defense from people is, I use the word all the time. I'm like, that's not something that you should probably be bragging about.
So fuck,
white guy.
I mean, Jesus Christ, man.
Read a history book, for Christ's sake. Justin says, while he'd hate to see this go to court and set legal precedent, there's not a chance in hell that he could back Felix's side of things here. But it does feel like if it does go to court, the outcome will be a loss for everyone in the long run. It'll either be easier for IP owners to pull down content they don't like, or it'll give content creators precedent to be complete assholes with no check. In the case of the former, we also have to remember that fair use is a defense, not a right. It's something you have to prove in court, not a shield against DMCA takedown. Johnny says, tolerating white toxicity and mediocrity for the sake of $1 ain't nothing new. Apologists and sycophants alike will make up a new buzzword for inappropriate behavior. Sad to say, but Pewds will be just fine.
Yeah, he will.
Matthew says, bad reviews and being a racist aren't the same, so I don't see any unintended consequences of coming coming from this or a trend of retaliation on behalf of game companies. Worst case, streamers have to enter into contracts with publishers to get free copies of whatever they're reviewing, and I don't even see that happening. That's not something that would ever happen, honestly, because once you sign a contract, you're giving away freedom basically to say whatever you want about that. Game companies would load that up with all sorts of you can't say this, you can't say this, you can't talk about this part of the game, blah blah blah, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Rashawn went on an epic rant for the ages. Now, unfortunately, Rashawn, it was based off of this picture from a website called The Hard Times, which wrote an article saying PewDiePie puts on full KKK regalia during a live stream. Hilarious. And it fooled a lot of people. Hard Times is a satire website, though, unfortunately. So, of course, this is something that did not happen. I'm still going to read Rashawn's whole rant anyway because it's fucking funny. Fuck this piece of shit. Me personally, this asshole is ruining the whole YouTube platform at this point. Shit has not been the same since the last time he stirred up some shit. The stuff this jackass does is ruining YouTube and making things worse for them if he wants to keep being a fucking troll. Personally, I hope the company takes down all the videos of their video games off their channel because having your game being played by him is just poison at this point. He is worth over $61 million. He doesn't need to work another day in his life. He can go relax and do anything else. But no, he choices to say racist shit and wear racist shit in today's world because he thinks it's funny. He can personally go fuck off, and I hope the end results in the companies that have and currently work with him rethink this and find better YouTube content creators to work with. I got a brilliant idea. How about they just try and work with TNP Studios and sponsor Dense Pixels and have any one of you do Let's Plays and live streams and get paid for doing it instead because you deserve it more than that fuck annoying, I'm not going to say the word he used, name PewDiePie. Use your real name, Felix, goddammit.
You might have to read all of Rashawn comments from now on. You did that flawlessly.
Oh my god. Yeah, give us money. That's fine. We'll take it.
Hey, look, give me money. I will stop. I will convince Terrence to stop saying the N-word. How about that?
If you give him money, he'll stop saying the N-word for sure.
Yep, he'll stop saying it.
Evan says, well, PewDiePie's fans are now review bombing Firewatch on Steam. Yeah, we talked about that and completely expected. Randy says, you don't insult the consumers who buy the games, and PewDiePie is PewDiePie even irrelevant? No, Randy, he is not irrelevant. I would say even he knows that he's not. He just like all other racist whites saying the N-word behind closed doors because nobody watches your videos. That is factually untrue. Unfortunately, Randy. We end it with Jay, of all people. PewDiePie is responsible for sparking off what is now referred to as the adpocalypse on YouTube, which devastated ad revenue across the entire platform, doing massive damage to himself and many others, our company included. This is where he's giving you some inside baseball. For reference, we have seen as high as 15 times loss in revenue from YouTube due to his previous best, quote, the Jews will not replace us impression. So the DCMA takedowns are an appropriate response. The only way these fuckheads like PewDiePie get it is when they lose money. He's worth an estimated 60 million, so he isn't hurting, but to drop him down to nothing new coming in financially is a surefire way to stop this shit. Companies don't need to pull their ads from the entire platform, but instead punish individuals hard with DCMA takedowns to make an example of these assholes. You want to be edgy? Cool, bro. Now you get nothing, you Swedish dickbag. and ultimately, like, and I'm kind of glad that Jay was the last one in, because that is the problem, is that this whole thing is not going to hurt PewDiePie as much as it's going to hurt everybody else that's not as successful and not as rich and not as popular as he is. And that's the problem. And like I said, he did not ask to be the representative for YouTube as a whole, or the live streaming community as a whole, but he is. And with that stature, with that power, not to quote Uncle Ben, comes great responsibility. And if you can't shoulder that, and seriously, like it's people might think it's unfair to levy this on him, but if you really can't shoulder that, then you got to go away.
Look, it's not fair, but and if you don't want that responsibility, maybe you need to take a break. Maybe you need to stop doing videos. Maybe you just need to go away. So that was the PewDiePie controversy.
I'm happy to wash our hands of it.
Yeah.
But now comes a story that I'm really interested, Micah, and I wish Terrence was here for this too. But I'm really interested to get your take on it. So, South Park, The Fractured But Whole. I don't know if they're happy or upset that the PewDiePie thing happened, because this was dominating the airwaves for the day before that whole thing dropped. So, there's various levels of difficulty in the upcoming RPG. From easy to difficult, but the way that this difficulty is adjusted and tracked is by your character's skin tone in the game. Basically, the darker you are, the harder the game is. It doesn't make battles harder, but it does affect people, how people talk to you. It affects how people, the amount of money that you receive in the game from people. Obviously, it is a very witty bit of social commentary from the South Park folks. But I'm a white guy, so it's not really appropriate for. Well, I mean, I can speak on it if I want to, but it's not. This is more like I'm interested to hear, Micah, your take, because do you find this amusing? Are you mad about this?
I'm certainly not mad about it. I think. Look, I like South Park. I'm not like a hardcore super fan, but if a South Park episode is on, I'll watch it. I believe that those guys, at least back in the day, had incredible insight into what parody and social commentary through humor should be. This is amazing to me. I absolutely love it. I wonder how many people will get it. And I wonder when the game comes out, how many people will have a problem with it. I would love to know. I would hope that they would keep some sort of track.
There are already some people bitching online.
Of course there
are. They are upset that in order to play the video game on a harder difficulty,
I have to be a black character.
You have to be a black character.
Well, welcome to my world. In order to play 99.9% of all other video games, I have to be a bald-headed white dude. Congratulations. The shoe is on the other foot. Yeah, man, you never hear other minority. What about Hispanic people? There are very few Hispanic video game characters. Like they just aren't represented in this industry. And now, you never hear them complain about anything like this.
Now let's unlock the other part of this. South Park has certainly in the past, throughout their history, had a unique relationship dealing with race. And they certainly dealt with racial humor in lazy aspects before. Do you trust them to pull this off with the right? I don't know if finesse is the right word, but do you trust them to not fuck this up? Basically,
I do. I don't see this truly affecting. And I'm very curious. I'm getting this game, and I'll have to play a couple different playthroughs just to see what dialogue is different. But I don't think they're going to be like, "Hey, here, darky, here's a penny for your thoughts." Whereas, "Hey, great white savior, here's $100." Like, I don't think they'll do anything like that. I think that all the dialogue and stuff will be the same. You would just get, like, let's say you do a mission, and if you're on easy, you get $100. Whereas if you're on hard, you get $25. That would be the same thing if the skin tone slider wasn't a factor, right? Like, hypothetically, if you play a game on a hard mode, you're rewarded with less resources no matter what, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think this is just a piece of social commentary that is not meant to be, that will not be like the crux of the game. Like, remember when BioShock Infinite came out and they showed that one scene of that interracial couple
at the beginning of the game? Yeah, you have to choose where you throw the baseball, basically.
Right. And they kind of made it seem like those type of decisions were going to be prominent in the game. and to make you think about stuff, and it really wasn't. You know, it was just that one instance, and then they just kind of moved on. I think that's what's. I think that's what this is going to be. They're just. They're just. For lack of a better term, it's a gag.
Mm-hmm. It was interesting because I posted this story in our fan group, densepixels.com/fans originally, and everyone had a good laugh about it. I don't think there was anyone, at least no one that commented, that was worried or concerned or was upset about this. But then I saw on like video game Twitter, there was a lot of notable like journalist folks and especially people of color that were really concerned and like, yeah, this isn't good. Like this seems like a cute thing, but you know, this requires a deft touch, and I don't think that they're gonna be able to pull this off in a way that's not offensive.
I think that they are afraid that that the people of South Park are going to all turn into PewDiePies and start calling your character the N-word. I think if they play it, they'll realize that, in my opinion, this is probably nothing more than a gag. I would love for there to be a comment on race and how characters treat you differently, and see what they speak on it, or see how they speak on that. But I don't think any of that will happen. I just think it's a gag on there on South Park's part. Like there's a thing in our community, the Black community, where we sometimes can't see the forest through the trees, and people will get upset about something like the N-word is a trigger for a lot of people. And if they hear it, no matter what it is, no matter if you aren't Black and you heard that, like, you ready to fight. And I get it. But at the same time, like, and that has embittered a lot of people. And to the point where white allies, and I hate to use that term, but I'm not in my right mind yet, so I can't think of a better one. But white allies, you know, aren't to be, they don't trust them. You know what I mean? Like, I've known you for a very long time, and I don't know you to be a bigot of any shape or form. But
that's not true. I am a heightist. It's everything I can do to not lash out at Jay every time I see him. So.
But at the same time, like someone who didn't know you, I could say that you're a nice guy, you're a nice guy, you're a nice guy. But if I can think of two people right now that just hate white people, and I say, oh wow, this guy Brad, he's a really nice guy. Is he white? I don't trust him then. Like that is uncalled for. And I think those type of people might be in their feelings about this gag. I think that, I don't know. I think it's just a gag, man. But
I'll be interested to see how it plays out. And
let me say this right now: if it's not played out properly, oh, you're gonna hear about it. You're gonna hear about it. I don't give a fuck if I'm yeah, no, you're gonna hear about it.
As well we should, because
yep.
Yeah. So PUBG is doing very well, and in over 5 months they've sold over 10 million copies, an impressive feat considering the game is not actually released yet. What do you take for this early access trend that's happening more and more?
I think it's genius, right? Like, because it can be, and quite frankly, I don't know why companies don't do this. I don't know why more companies don't do this, especially in order to spur pre-orders. I know 2K does it with the WWE games, where if you pre-order our game, you get to play it 5 days early. I don't know why people don't do it. Like, it's a it's a marketing ploy. It's a marketing tactic to get people to buy your game, and it's essentially like a beta test, right? Like that you pay for.
See, that's the thing that always gets me. I want to know. I want to know what the Venn diagram crossover looks like of people who bitch about DLC in games and people who bitch about I hate the culture nowadays because they release they put out unfinished products and then they make you buy stuff down the road. And I wonder how many of those people also buy into early access games like PUBG, like Fortnite, stuff like that. Because I'd have to imagine there's probably more than a few.
Right. Like people.
And I'm sorry, but if you want to get on a high, because like there was a person that I overheard a conversation with today who didn't want to buy Destiny 2 because he was distrustful of Bungie and Activision because they released they purposely held back stuff from Destiny 1 and they released half a game and they made you buy the other halves of the game throughout. And I would just be curious to know if he played if he was a PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds player.
yeah, because it doesn't make sense, right?
Like you're buying literally an unfinished product that you are putting your faith into that developer to finish it.
Maybe that'll be the argument, right? The argument will be, well, I know it's an unfinished product, so I know what I'm getting into, so it's my fault. Whereas with Destiny, I thought it was done 100%, and there would be no DLC at all ever,
despite the fact that they announced that beforehand. But that's
right.
It's an interesting thing to me. Good for PUBG. Definitely the big phenomenon for 2017. I think it'll go down as.
Yeah.
Blizzard has built an esports arena and opened it in Los Angeles. Custom designed from the ground up with amenities to accommodate top esports competitors and their fans. They're going to be having high-profile events for Hearthstone and Overwatch at this place. Starting on the Contenders Playoffs for Overwatch is the weekend of October 7th and 8th. It'll be the grand opening of the Blizzard Arena Los Angeles. Top teams from Europe and North America will arrive to battle over prize pools and regional dominance. On October 13th, the Summer Championship for the Hearthstone Championship Tour takes over the arena for a full weekend of championship competition with $250,000 on the line. The players left standing will be the final entrants in the Hearthstone World Championship, which will be happening in early 2018. This will also be the home for the inaugural season of the Overwatch League, coming soon in 2018. They did it.
Yeah, they did it.
And they don't have a picture of the arena in this in the Blizzard news release.
Yeah,
I feel like that's all sort of cited.
That would be nice to see, but
there's no picture of it anywhere, actually. So never mind. I guess they haven't shown anyone this building that's in Los Angeles right now.
Some phantom building.
Finally, for headlines this week, Nintendo's Reggie Fils-Aimé has urged the public not to overpay for an SNES Classic. Sorry, this article is taking a little bit longer to load than I originally thought it would.
Essentially, he told the Financial Times that the short supply of the NES Classic was not an intentional move to create buzz. He claims that the production numbers were simply based on sluggish sales of rival retro gaming machines, but those machines weren't made by Nintendo. Despite retailing at $80, the NES Classic was going upwards of $200 on eBay almost immediately. He insists that they've planned to manufacture plenty of consoles this time around. So
this statement is so frustrating because I don't know why it takes 5 or 6 months to get this level of transparency from Nintendo about this issue. When they cut production off, they said, "Oh, it was always planned to be a limited item. This is how it was going to be." Like if you had gone out and said, "Hey, like we look like the reason why we produce so little of them is because of this reason here," I don't think you would have had people hitting back at you so much.
Right.
That's a perfectly legitimate explanation. We looked at the market. We underestimated the power of our brand. That's a humble stance.
Yeah.
People like humility. It's this drives me insane. And that's not even the focus of the article. Like, the focus of the article is, hey, don't pay out the nose for an SNES. We're making more of them this time. But
right, it's just like, why didn't you say it sooner? Like,
right.
people, as much as people want to forgive Nintendo for everything they do, like, when they have a legitimate reason as to why those things were hard to find, and you just kind of keep it to yourself, like, I mean, come on, man.
It's so annoying. It's so fucking annoying. And apparently they're bringing the NES Classic back. Apparently, because of course they are.
Right
at this point.
Well, look, I mean, at least they are making a lot of these things. Like, they realize they missed out on a big payday, man.
Let me tell you something. The Super Mario Brothers live action movie back in 1993 ruined everything. That's the reason that Nintendo is such a closely guarded and insular company.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh, the last time we let this shit out in the wild, look what you did with it. It fucking, John Leguizamo playing an Italian plumber whose last name was Mario.
And Mario is Luigi Mario.
So yeah, very, very frustrating statement from Nintendo, but I guess scalpers might as well just not even charge money for their ripped off SNES classics, because nobody's going to buy them on eBay now that Nintendo has spoken, I'm sure. That is it for headlines. Before we move into the back half of the show, don't forget to, when you do order your SNES Classic, that'll be readily available from Nintendo. Make sure you do it at densepixels.com/Amazon. Whenever you buy anything off Amazon, big or small, use our Amazon link, densepixels.com/Amazon. We get a small percentage of the sale. It helps pay for overhead items like hosting fees, equipment, things like that we use to produce the shows. We appreciate everybody that uses our link and continues to use it. And again, densepixels.com/Amazon. Anytime you buy anything from Amazon.com. All right. I am really, really, really enjoying Destiny 2.
Yeah.
Like, tremendously so.
Yeah.
It just feels right.
If it's like putting on an old shoe or putting on a glove. Like, it's the shooting that you remember. It's Destiny, but one, it's back, and two, it's better. And it's more streamlined, and it is what it's a testament to that company that they put out a game, they altered it, they tweaked it, they tried to refine it, and a lot of people were very happy with what they did in the Taken King, and they were like, you know what, we're still listening, and we can modify and tweak a little more. And yeah, I dig it, man. Like, it's that same Destiny feel, but different. And the strikes are better.
Oh, the strikes are worlds better. I mean, I ran strikes for the first. So I guess we should probably go through the stages. So just to be clear with where we are, I've probably put in 15 to 20 hours so far. Micah's put in about 20 plus hours between two versions of the game. Yeah. We both finished the campaign. We both just waded into the end game content for the game. The campaign, we're not going to speak on spoilers for those of you that have not gotten to it. I will say I appreciate the fact that it's a cohesive campaign. I really enjoyed a lot of the set pieces in the campaign. Yeah. Especially towards the end. Like, the end, it got really like over the top. And I never played Halo, but as I understand it, that it was very Halo-esque in the way the campaign was structured.
A lot of the pacing was very much like Halo. A lot of the a lot of the like vehicle sections, like the last mission in one of those Halos is just you're in a vehicle and you gotta escape, and that's very similar to one of the missions in Destiny. Um, what I like about the campaign is the set design and art design. Like they know how to set a stage and make things look, very, very grand. The final battle, when you come up from that elevator and you see what you see, it's like, yeah, like I'm ready to fight. You know what I mean? Like they did the same thing with the Taken King. When you head to Oryx's lair, when you go fight Oryx, there's a spark that lights, and all of a sudden, once it gets to the end, everything just lights up, and you see the symbol. I was like, wow, this is fucking grand, man. Like these are people who love their product to the point where they take it just a little too seriously. but it is fun, man. Mechanics, look, everybody says, oh, story. I don't know what the fuck is going on with this story. I really don't. But I know enough of what's going on to find it way more entertaining than the first disconjointed mess. Like the story is cohesive. Destiny's always had really good lore, but now they've plotted a proper story. Yeah, man, I love it.
And so the end game, it's amazing how much feedback they took. This is like I feel bad calling Destiny 1, comparing it to Assassin's Creed 1, because it's a better game than Assassin's Creed 1. But this is like the Assassin's Creed 1 to Assassin's Creed 2 leap.
Yeah,
that they took basically. So the end game in Destiny 1, when you were done the campaign, is you could replay the campaign missions. You could do patrols, which were shitty in Destiny 1. You could do strikes, you could do the special strikes like the Nightfall, stuff like that. You could do the raids, and you could do PvP. It's pretty much about it that you could do in the game.
Mm-hmm.
This game has all that stuff. Destiny 2 has all that stuff. Patrols are back. Patrols still suck, but now they don't suck as much because they only take like 2 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
But now they also have adventures in the open world areas. They have these huge open world areas, much bigger than the ones in the first game. They have quests that you can go on post game that give you access to certain exotics. They have lost sectors, which are little caves that you can dive into that are kind of hidden away that give you a nice loot cache. They have treasure chests scattered all over the place. They have, like I said, they have the different strikes. They have quests that you can do regularly for each world has like a non-player character, which are all for the most part very good, by the way. Like very charismatic characters that they have populated these planets that you can do. The public events. I've done so many fucking public events in this game so far.
They're fun, man. They're fun. And they took, in Destiny 1, public events were just scattered, and the Destiny community created algorithms to try and anticipate where the next public event is going to be. And they saw that and they were like, oh shit, like why didn't we think of that? So they put it in this one. And if I see a public event happening, like I was on a mission today, I was like, yo, this public event is about to start in like 45 seconds. I'm just going to put this mission on hold and go do this public event and then come back to it.
But but they made it worthwhile. Because they added flashpoints as well, they designate a certain specific zone each week as a flashpoint area, and doing public events will get you some legendary gear and a chance at an exotic. So they made everything matter, and they kept enough. They add enough stuff that's varied to not keep you bored. Because doing patrols all the time in Destiny 1 was boring. And I get like. The adventures are just like long patrols, but there's some story with them, and they're not reinventing the wheel for any of this stuff,
right?
But it's presented in a really endearing fashion that makes it fun to play.
Yeah, like hearing the banter between the characters, like I wonder how long it's going to take for me to get tired of it. But right now, I'm, like failsafe is hilarious, and a lot of these characters are just great, man. Like I don't know, I'm having a blast with it.
It's been a lot of fun. Have you done a lot of PvP?
No, I haven't done a lot of PvP. I
Okay.
did enough PvP to unlock it.
That's probably where my biggest criticism of the game does come into play. So the way they do PvP is you used to be able to pick which game mode you went into. Now you pick a playlist. So you either do quick play, which are the casual modes, which are clash, supremacy, and control, or you do competitive, which is the new countdown mode and survival, but you don't get to pick which game mode you play. So like if you want to go in and you just want to do control, sorry, you do quick play and you'll get to do control every third match, basically. Not really keen with that. I get why they did it. They wanted to make it simple and easy. I kind of hope they bring out the regular game modes back at some point.
Yeah, I don't understand why that was I want to play what I want to play.
But I mean, it's like it's minor gripe in the swing of things. I do like the 4v4. It makes Crucible much more challenging than it was before. That's for sure. It's definitely tough. If you ever find yourself in a 2-on-1, you might as well just get ready to hit respawn, because there's no fucking way that you're unless you're really good that you're surviving that. But it's been fun for the most part. That's where I'm really great, man. The strikes, I ran strikes for the first time last night. Whoo, boy. We talked about it after the beta, how the strikes almost seem like half raids at this point, and man, oh man, they were a lot of fun.
Which ones did you do? I keep getting the pyramid one.
Okay,
I keep getting a lot of that one.
I have done. I only did 2 because I just wanted to get the milestone off my list. By the way, milestones, fantastic addition to the game, way better than bounties were in the first game. Gives you a direction to head when you're playing that day. I did the oh my god, what's the Hive Queen lady? The one on Titan where that
where you have to fight that eyeball.
Yes, yeah, I did that one.
I did that today.
And then I did the ship one on Nessus, where you have to go into the core of the ship.
I haven't done that one yet.
Oh my god, dude. The boss fight in that one is out of control.
I did the one that you said first. I did Peridian or Pyramid, whatever, where there's a lot of jumping around, and there are these lasers that you have to avoid, because if you touch them, you'll die. And then they're in different configurations, and it's essentially like a grounded platformer, so to speak. And that's pretty fun. It's kind of annoying because the last arena, like a lot of some of the arenas now, like the last arena is an island with holes in it and cover switches. Like the boss can manipulate the cover. So, and then there are areas where you have to stand to unlock the shield that the boss is generating for himself while fighting off enemies. Like, it's really hectic and really fun. And then I did this other one where we had to fight this Cabal general, and the Cabal general, they make it a point in the strike to mention that this guy is not like a meathead. Like, he's very smart, and he uses different tactics. Speaking of which, I like how since the health bars are segmented, which phase is about to come up. And okay, well, I got to prepare for phase 2, and I got to prepare for phase 3, and if there is a phase 4, I got to prepare for that. Like, it's fun, man. They're really, really fun.
It's just been an impressive product so far. We have a few news stories to cover on it, but so far I've been very, very happy with the game as it's been presented so far. It's been a trip. I love the different. I don't know if it's just me. I feel like they went out of their way to create more variety with the different weapons and armor that's in the game so far.
Oh yeah. I love the new armor system, the new weapon system now, where because I prefer auto rifles and pulse rifles. Like I just those are the weapons that I prefer. So for me to have a an elemental auto rifle is a godsend to me. I picked up this one pulse rifle that you get for completing a story mission, and it sounds like you're at a dubstep concert.
Oh, is it the Graviton Lance?
Yeah, man. It sounds amazing.
I got Sweet Business the other day, and that thing
off a drop.
No, from a quest reward.
Oh, I got to do that.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good, and it's so pretty too. I have it. I posted a picture in our fan group of my character, and I have the ornament for it as well, and it makes it like gold and brown. It's nice looking. It's a nice looking gun. So
I want the Sweet Business, man. They gave you that gun in the beta. I was like, oh, I can get with this.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking nice. Yeah, it's been I've never carried more weapons on me in a Destiny game at any point. Like both my energy and power slots. Like I have like 7 different weapons in each one.
Yeah, because
I can't make up my mind. Yeah,
you need them. You don't know which. You run into a certain enemy and okay, well you might need to quickly equip a void weapon to knock that shield down, because there are bonuses for eliminating that shield with the right weapon. Like which gives you incentive to keep a bunch of weapons on you and to try new stuff. Like you don't get pigeonholed into a certain type of weapon. Yep. You kind of got to think about your loadout for it's great, man.
We will have much more to say on Destiny over the coming weeks and months, I'm sure. And again, if you guys out there playing Destiny 2 and enjoying yourself and you need a clan, check out Dense Pixel's Guardians. You can search that on Bungie's Clan Manager, or you can we have a link to it on our main Facebook page. We will certainly be happy to have you, and you can join a fire team with fellow hosts and listeners of the show. It doesn't matter which console you're on either. We have people for PlayStation and Xbox that are in the clan right now.
I should probably make that clan then, shouldn't I?
No, you don't need it. I'm saying the Dense Pixel's Guardians clan, you can join up if you're on PlayStation or Xbox. It doesn't matter.
Oh, snap. All right.
So you can, Micah, you can even add your Xbox account in there if you wanted to as well.
Yeah, I'll have to add my Xbox account there.
Yeah. We're not the only people enjoying Destiny 2, by the way. Over the weekend, they racked up 1.2 million concurrent players online. And remember, it's not even out on PC yet.
Goodness gracious.
So it's definitely doing very well. It's I've heard it's the biggest launch so far of 2017. Bungie also has laid out the September content roadmap for Destiny 2. Of course, last week was the launch and the first Nightfall strike. As we're recording this, the weekly reset's happening tonight. Flashpoint switching to Nessus. The Nightfall is going to be the Inverted Spire. And then guided games are going to begin in beta. The Raid also comes out next week. Next Friday is the first Trials of the Nine, which is replacing Trials of Osiris. Xur will also show up for the first time. Mike, apparently Xur is just going to be out in the world somewhere this time. Like he's not going to have his 2 or 3 spots that he rotates between. He's just going to be on a planet somewhere. So there's an app that I use on Android called Where Is Xur that I'm going to have to be.
Yeah, well, guess what?
Great use this week.
I got to see if there's an iOS version, because I'm not the one to be searching for that dude.
Yep. Other notes, looks like, let's see, more Trials of the Nine, more Xur, Flashpoint. The Raid guided games beta begins at the end of the month. They're also doing what's called a faction rally on September 26th. Dead Orbit Future War called New Monarchy all coming back. They've not detailed exactly what that pertains. I kind of hope it's not just join the faction like it was in Destiny 1.
Right.
I hope there's something more to it. But that's what September looks like. The first details, by the way, of the first expansion leaked the other day. I'm sure that wasn't by accident. It's going to be called Curse of Osiris, as they have already announced. And as the name would suggest, you will actually be working and running alongside of Osiris on Mercury, which is going to have a new zone called the Infinite Forest. You'll actually be able to explore Mercury, so it'll become another patrollable area, which is very interesting. It's the first time that Mercury's ever been a playable PvE area in the game. Previously, it was a multiplayer map, and it was also the reward if you went flawless in Trials of Osiris last year. You got to visit the lighthouse, which is on Mercury. They say it's going to come with explore Mercury and its mysterious infinite forest, new story missions and adventures, new themed weapons, armor, and gear, new co-op activities, new competitive multiplayer arenas, and more. Most notably, it does not appear that there is going to be a new raid with this expansion, or at least not one that they've announced yet. They might be saving that for the Trials of the Nine expansion, which comes out in the spring of next year. Thoughts?
Look, I bought the season pass on both systems, so I'm ready. I'm ready to go. I just got to build up my characters now.
Okay. However, as much fun as we're having and as joyous as it's been, there are two controversies, unfortunately, that have reared their ugly head. One is today. Apparently, there is a piece of armor called the Road Complex AA1 that unfortunately has some racist iconography on it. Apparently, this gauntlet, this hunter gauntlet, has an emblem on it that is reflective of is that the Kekistan flag?
I have no idea.
I've never heard of this before. So apparently, there is a satirical religion that's created by white nationalists called Kek, and their banner is a green flag with a cross in the middle. It has it's like 4Ks surrounding these like three lines. There's also the 4chan logo in the top left corner of all things. I had never heard of this. I'm assuming that Bungie as a whole had not either, because of course they released the game with this logo that looks more similar than is comfortable, probably.
Yeah.
Especially when you factor in the color of the gauntlet as well. It kind of matches that of the flag.
Yeah.
Somewhat. Yeah, someone's going to get fired, I think. I'm thinking that whatever artist made up that gauntlet is probably not going to be working for Bungie. I find it really hard to believe that that's an unfortunate coincidence.
Yeah, that's I mean, look, I'm willing to give people the benefit of the doubt, but this is a little too close for comfort.
Yeah. Bungie did put out a statement on Twitter today saying it's come to our attention that a gauntlet in Destiny 2 shares elements with a hate symbol. It's not intentional. We are removing it. Our deepest apologies. This does not represent our values, and we are working quickly to correct this. We renounce hate in all forms. Yeah, like I said, I certainly don't blame Bungie as a whole for this, but I do think that there was an artist that had to have known what they were doing when they put this in the game.
Yeah, because
that is unfortunate.
It's just innocuous enough that no one in their right mind knows what this is.
Right. I mean, I'd never seen this or seen or heard of this before.
Yeah,
this story. But yeah, I don't think good on Bungie for being like, oh, this is just an unfortunate coincidence. Like, no, it looks a little too good to, or a little too accurate to be a coincidence, I think.
Yeah.
So we'll see if that story has legs throughout the week. Man, I hope not. But there was a story last week that did have some serious legs, and people are upset. The one thing that people are universally upset about is how Bungie has switched the shader system in Destiny to it's being called ShaderGate. Of course it is, because everything has to have a gate suffix on it when it's a controversy. So for those not familiar, the way shaders worked in Destiny 1 is you would acquire a shader, you'd have it forever, you could apply it freely, switch it up, it colored your whole armor set in a themed fashion relative to that shader. In Destiny 2, they switched it up by letting you color individual pieces of gear rather than your whole outfit. And you can also alter ships and speeders and guns and stuff like that. Sounds great, right? The downside is that the shaders are consumable. So usually when you get shaders in Destiny 2, you get a pack of them. So you get 3 to 5 in a pack. And as you use them, you are using them. So they go away. And if you overwrite a previous shader on an armor set, then you have lost that specific shader until you reacquire it again. Exacerbating this problem is the fact that shaders, one of the prevalent sources for them is from bright engrams. And from bright engrams, those unfamiliar with Destiny, bright engrams are a new type of engram, and engrams are like treasure chests, basically, that you get in Destiny. But they are loot boxes, essentially. You do earn bright engrams throughout the game. Once you reach level 20, every time that you would level up, you get a bright engram for free. But of course, being 2017, you can also buy these yourself with real world money. That is Destiny's version of micro transactions, essentially. Complicating matters further is the fact that some shaders are exclusive to bright engrams. You can only get them through bright engrams. There's another way to get shaders through the Eververse using a currency called bright dust. You only can get bright dust though by breaking down items that you get in bright engrams. So they're all tied around this central thing. People are upset, as one would expect them to be, I guess, because when you take an established system, how they had in Destiny 1, you change it and you monetize it. People are going to lose their shit. Mm-hmm. As we expected. So before we move on to the internet taking things a bit too far, how do you feel about this change to the game?
I mean, look, it sucks because you're used to one thing and now something is a little different. But at the same time, like, how often are you changing? I usually find a shader that I like, and then I usually just kind of stick with it. I mean, I know that's not for everyone, but I don't necessarily, I understand why people are mad, but it's not preventing you from playing the game. And would it be nice that all these shaders were free? Or not, but yeah, free. Sure, but I don't know. I'm just not that mad at it. Like I'm not so pissed that I don't know. Maybe I'm just getting old.
Well, I am someone who use different shaders often in Destiny 1. I would go back and forth between different ones. I was excited when they let you customize individual pieces of gear. I think that's a positive addition. I do wish that they did not make shaders consumable. I will say that. I kind of wish if you earned a shader that you could apply it freely. That would certainly be nice. However, I'm not like so hurt by this. So one of the things Bungie said when they were answering this controversy is, hey, you're going to be swimming in shaders. It's not as big of a deal as you think it is. And they're kind of right. Like ever since I hit level 20, you get shaders pretty regularly. Like nowadays, not only can you get them from the bright engrams that you earn, most legendary engrams also include a shader of some kind as well, typically. Mm-hmm. Now, obviously, I can understand people getting upset about the rare ones. I think a fair bit of contention, or I think a fair solution would be to maybe offer up some of those rare shaders that you could purchase directly instead of having to, roll the dice and pray to RNGesus that they'll be in whatever bright engram that pops out. So I think that's one way you could fix that. I think people are making a bigger deal about it than it is. I also think that this was the breaking point for some reason with a lot of people with loot boxes. A lot in the industry this week have been ballyhooing about how loot boxes are so evil because they are instilling the same behaviors that are associated with gambling in young people at a young age.
Come on, yo. Come on, yo. It's not
that serious.
It's not that serious.
They might not even be wrong. Okay, so like, yes, getting a bright engram, and especially if you're spending real life money on it, is a bit of a slot machine. Okay, you're pulling the lever and you're seeing what pops out. But this is no different than any trading card game, including Pokemon, which, by the way, marketed towards kids. I don't know if you know. It's no different than collecting any kind of trading cards in general, baseball cards, whatever.
Right.
A comparison that I heard, it's no different than going to the grocery store and putting a coin in the fucking machine at the end and turning the lever and getting the little fucking sticker that pops out.
Yeah.
It's no different than any other blind buy situation. It's not different at all. You know you're getting something. And I can tell you, every bright engram, you're going to get a pack of shaders, you're going to get a mod, at least one mod, or you're going to get like an item of some kind, whether that be a weapon ornament or a ship or a speed or whatever, and you're going to get 2 armor or weapon mods in every box. You don't know what they're going to be, but you know what you're going to get. It'd be one thing if you were paying to get this thing and like you opened a bright engram, it's like, oh, sorry, nothing in this one.
Right.
Like that would be gambling.
Right.
This is just you're getting something. It just might not be the thing that you want, which is no different than Overwatch, which is no different than PUBG's loot boxes or any other loot box situation.
It's like Loot Crate, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, you know what? You're not wrong.
So I think it's a little different than the whole gambling thing. Like you said, with gambling, you could lose out on something. At least you know that you are getting something.
Well, and would it be nice if they gave you like the drop rates for certain things? Like if you're chasing a particular shader or a particular ornament, it would be nice to know what your percentage chances are of acquiring that specific one in one of these boxes. That would be cool if they released that information.
Sure. I mean, it would be nice, but at the same time, if you told somebody what their drop rate was, like if you say, well, you got a 1 in 10 chance of getting it, someone buys the thing for 10 tries, and what if it doesn't show up, right? For whatever reason, then they're gonna get all pissed and start bitching again. So
right,
just let it be a surprise for you.
Well, and the other thing that we have to get back to, and people are like, oh, this is true, but that's not the point. All of the stuff in here is cosmetic, except for the mods, but the mods really don't affect gameplay that much.
Yeah, 5 armor, like it doesn't
or like you get a small cooldown on your melee attack. You know what the cooldown is? It's literally like 3 seconds. I don't think that 3 seconds is gonna be the difference between winning and losing in the Crucible. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I really feel like that this was blown out of proportion. I guess it says a lot about Destiny too, that this is the only thing that people could really grab onto and shake.
But don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if the economy in Destiny 1 was a big issue, right? Because when the game first came out, you didn't have anything to spend your money on. Don't be surprised if later on down the line, if enough people complain about it, you'll be able to buy common shaders with glimmer, and then they keep like the super rare stuff through bright engrams, but just to kind of appease people, and they'll cost like an ungodly amount of glimmer for whatever reason. But if you want it, like this is, you can buy a shader engram.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the only compromise that I can see that would appease everyone.
It's
I got plenty of shit, and you know what? I haven't even applied a shader. I've run 2 Titans on 2 different systems, and I still haven't applied a shader.
Well, I will say the one thing that this has done is it has made me much more conservative using those shaders. Like now I only apply them if it's something like, it's like, all right, I really like how this looks and I can't see myself wanting to change it unless like an amazing shader comes along that makes it look terrific. You know what I mean?
Now, if you get another piece of armor, if you get like a better piece of gear, does that new gear have that shader?
No, the shader is tied to that specific piece of gear.
So you have to really like the look of that gear and then just infuse it or whatever.
Yeah, and I'm only using it for, like, I've only applied shaders so far to exotics and legendaries that I know I'm going to hang on to permanently.
Yeah, like
I'm not doing it on a legendary that I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to need this long term. I'm not doing it on any blues, certainly not on any greens.
Yeah.
So that's not necessary. So if anything, that's how my habits have changed. I'm not applying them willy-nilly anymore. Like before I applied it to my ship, I made sure, okay, this is the one I want for sure, and didn't deviate from that. So I mean, that's how it's changed my habits basically.
When I get like, I'm gonna go downstairs and work on getting the EDZ armor set for my Titan. When I get that, if I get like a full set of something like that, like special like glamour armor, then I'll worry about shaders. But right now, it's all good.
I get why people don't like microtransactions.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
you're not missing out on the game, though.
You're not missing out on the game. And also, it's not a bad thing for a game company to make money.
Yeah, like
it's people, not. I mean, you can't want a company like Bungie to make so much content and have all these free events, by the way, and have all of this other stuff that they added to the game besides the expansions, and then be like, oh, but I feel really fucking awful about giving you guys $5 for that shit, for this shader that I really want. Sorry.
Right.
Like, so I get why people don't like it, but at the same time, having stuff like that it's not just going into Bobby Kotick's pockets. You know what I mean? Like, as much as people think that it is, it's not. It does go towards, we don't like we're not getting rich off your Amazon money here. Like, we're actually using it to buy shit.
No kidding.
Right, to buy shit that we use. That's why we do it. It's no different than what they're doing. And again, yeah, does Activision make some money from this? Absolutely. But it's also what makes them excited to publish Destiny 3.
Exactly.
When it's time for Destiny 3. So I mean, it's a double-edged sword. I don't advocate, dropping $100 on silver for Destiny. Like, certainly not. That's taking it to an extreme.
Right.
And again, if you don't like microtransactions, feel free not to buy them until a game comes out with a microtransaction that you literally need to play the game. That's what you can save your ire for. But if it's just being used for stuff that's cosmetic or stuff that's completely optional, then just do you, man.
Right. Well, turn around and be mad that, like, I went on there on Bungie's Twitter to check the status of the maintenance, and they were like, oh, okay, maintenance continues. It'll be done at 2 PDT. And the first comment was, so are we getting free silver then? Like, come on, yo. Like, they're trying to, it's not like they're doing this to, it's not like they're doing shit like this to, they're doing it to help provide you with a better experience. So there's a lot of entitlement, like, well, I bought this game, so now it's mine. Well, no, it's not yours per se. You bought the license to play it. I don't know, man.
I don't know. I just think a lot of digital ink gets spilt over this stuff, and it's just I get that you want to do it, and people should be kept in check so that it doesn't balloon into a bigger problem, and I'm fine with that. But just get off the high horse. It doesn't have to be the ideological hill that you die on. There are far more things in the world that you can get upset about, that actually matter.
Right.
So we'll end it there. Really good episode this week. Make sure, if you're not a part of our fan group, densepixels.com/fans. If you've not left us a 5-star review in iTunes, we would certainly appreciate it. It helps get the podcast more visible thanks to their goofy algorithms. Plus, we'll read it on the air. You can follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Dense Pixels. You can subscribe to the show on iTunes, Google Play Music, or any podcatcher app that you choose. We are also on Twitch. I am Dense Pixels Brad. Terrence is Apparition 410. Micah is Dense Black Nerd, and Carrie Subbits Carrie. Carrie also, we're going to plug, she's doing Extra Life once again this year, which is the first weekend in November. I have her page that I can pull up in 2 seconds here real quick so that you can go contribute to her. I would really love to do an Extra Life. It's very difficult for me because I am usually working on the weekends. So Carrie for now is our de facto Extra Life official channel, we'll call it. Her, if you just go on Extra Life and search for Carrie Wood, CarrieWood, you can donate. She has a goal of $400. She's raised a few bucks so far, but definitely contribute if you can. She is playing for, I'm sorry, I don't have this information in front of me right now, the Children's Miracle Network Hospitals. She'll be playing Pokemon and some other things. She'll also have some prizes to give away. Don't be surprised if you see some free games from us given out on her stream. So again, if you can contribute some to her charity drive, please do so. Extra Life's on November 3rd. Check it out. That is it. Micah, thank you very much for suffering and coming here even on with an injury.
Well, you know, my ego would not allow me to not be on the show. So.
We hope you enjoyed it. Sign up for premium so you can listen to Die Another Day on the Men with the Golden Tongues. It's worth the $5, I promise.
Yeah, man.
And we will see you guys next week.
See ya.
What's up, everyone? This is oh fuck, goddamn. What podcast am I on?